And our cycle is very simple. And by the way, it's a cycle. In other words, it continually keeps going around. It's not a journey. A journey to success is you may pass a place and never come back to it again. I mean, you just see it once and you never return. But on a cycle, you keep doing what we call 5 things. There are 5 things in the cycle of success that we do, and we do them really well. And it's all about agility and flexibility. And I'm going to give them to you because they'll work for you. They'll work for you in your church. They'll work for you in your business. They'll just work. I know they will. And I'm very excited about giving them to you. Here we go. At the top of the cycle begins literally with the word test. We are constantly testing. We're constantly asking ourselves, is there a better way to do this? Is there another way to do this? Or should we even do it this way? And so we're throwing a lot of mud on the wall, and a lot of it doesn't stick. But we're always on this kind of adventure of being out front and not being afraid to try new things, to take risk, and to do a lot of testing. And it's a very exciting way to live because you're depending upon creativity, you're dependent on ingenuity, you're dependent on each other to collaborate. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into testing that just makes you very vital and very much alive. But that's where it begins. We're constantly testing. Well, the second part of the cycle of success is failure. We test, and then we fail. And trust me, we really have failure down, okay? We're really good at failure. In fact, here's the way this works. The more you test, the more you fail. That's just a fact. When somebody says, well, we haven't had very many failures in our organization, I want to stop right then. I'd say, oh my gosh, the reason you're having much failure is you're not trying any new things. Because when there's a reason why they call it trial and error. When you try it, there's a lot of error in the trial. Well, it's because you've never been that way before. You've never learned this. This is brand new. You're in virgin territory. So there's a testing part. And by the way, let me just stop here for a moment. My name's John. I'm your friend. There's never been a greater time to test than right now. COVID-19 allows you almost to test anything right now because people don't have answers. There's an incredible amount of uncertainty. So you get to do a lot of testing. So trust me, if you've ever wanted to test, just throw that mud on the wall. There isn't anybody that's going to give you a second look or any criticism because guess what? They're throwing mud on the wall too. But with testing comes failure. And there's a relationship on how much I test, how much I fail. And that's okay because we learn to fail forward. We understand that. It's the Winston Churchill says that success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. So there's a lot of misses. There's a lot of testing. There's a lot of failure. There's a lot of oops. But the third part of that cycle is after we test and we fail is we learn. And that's the value of failure. Failure is an incredible teacher if you have a teachable spirit. Failure will teach you lessons and me lessons that we learn nowhere else except failure in itself. That as we fail, the question is not did I fail? The question is what did I learn? In fact, when anybody fails, the question I ask is what did you learn from it? Because the value of failure is we learn new things. That's what Thomas Edison did as he discovered the incandescent light bulb. 10,000 failures later, he got it figured out. He failed his way forward. He tested his way forward. So we test, and then we fail, and we learn. And then we get over to that next part of the cycle of success, which is improve. Now, this is the part that excites me the most about the entire cycle. Because the reason that you test and the reason that you fail is so that you can learn. But learning is overrated just for head knowledge. The only value of learning is when we improve from it. So it's not what do I know, but it's what have I done? How did I improve my life? When anybody says, well, I've learned something, my first question is, well, then tell me how you've improved, because the value of, just as the value of testing is that you get failure so that you get learning, the value of learning is the fact that out of it, you improve, you get better. And as you improve and get better, you get to the last part of that cycle, which then it goes around again. So when I say the last part, you don't stop there and you never go again. You just continually go around that cycle, and that is you re-enter. And by the way, when do you re-enter? You re-enter when you improve. You don't re-enter until you improve. I know a lot of people, it's kind of like we love a tenacious person, and so they're down and they get up and they keep getting hit and they keep getting knocked down, and we look at that person and say, oh my gosh, look at them. They're so tenacious. I love that spirit of getting back up. And this is not a picture of an illustration of a tenacious person. This is a picture of a stupid person. When you're down, stay down there until you figured it out. What's knocking you down? What do you need to change? What do you need to learn? How do you need to improve? It's only after you improve that you get back up. And what do? You get back up to get back into the game. You get back into the game and why do you get back in the game? Well, it's very simple. You re-enter so you can test, you can fail, you can learn, you can improve. You can re-enter so you can test and you can fail and you can learn and you can improve and you can re-enter.